first off, holy crap, we're back. It's a brand new year. Thank you all for coming to join us. I'm gonna get my screen managed here. All of you Potter fans, mischief managed. Yeah, it's been like a full month since I've seen most of you. So thank you so much for coming to join this big kickoff party. I've always air quotes the party because I think of it as a party. This is my kind of party. I typically have a cocktail or a beer while I'm doing this. I don't today because I wanted to be mostly sober. But for all of you old enough to remember, welcome back, Cotter. It's the theme song always goes through my head when I'm thinking about welcoming people back to anything. So welcome back. And with that, we'll just go ahead and get kicked off. I know some people are new. Some people, well, most of us have been here before in some capacity, but some people are new to the mastermind concept. And just as a reminder for you all, we do 20 to 30 minutes on the front end before we jump into breakout groups. So you're going to hear from me for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to talk through what this whole community is looking forward to in 2021, and then hear from a couple of you about your My Adapt stories. So without further ado, I'm just going to jump right into it. So let's kick this new year off strong, and I'm going to give you some tips around how to do that from a marketing perspective. So first and foremost, answer questions that your customers are asking, and do it often, like literally as often as you possibly can. Use video and then repurpose that content. So you're not always having to create new things. When you do a video, you can actually get much more out of that. And we'll show you how in just a second. Plan for the always, and this is really up my alley, using search engine optimization. My dog is trying to kill the outside. Very sorry about that. Hope it's not too distracting. And moving forward, make doing business with you simple. Make doing is kind of a weird phraseology there, so I'm sorry for that, but make it as simple as possible. And then lastly, we want to leverage the relationships that you've been nurturing throughout this whole pandemic time and before, but the pandemic continues, and we are all trying to find new ways to be with customers and to serve them. So, leveraging those relationships that we've already got. So first up, answering the questions that your customers are asking. I actually stole this graphic and these points from Marcus Sheridan, who wrote the book, They Ask, You Answer. Just literally happened to come across my feed this morning on LinkedIn. But this is a great concept, and he went about portraying this in a very interesting way. So I wanted to share it with you guys. So when we think about answering the questions that your customers are asking, you have to kind of flip the equation. We all think about how we want to talk about what we sell, but no one cares what we sell. They care about the problems they have and how to overcome them and what life would look like after that. So when you think about this, if you always start with the buyer in mind, and you kind of don't worry about those that in this terminology are considering, or the looky-loos, we want to get right down to people who actually know what they're trying to solve. So you look at that third bullet point of being a buyer. What is the average cost for a fiberglass pool in Virginia? It's very specific. The number of people trying to solve that problem is much smaller than someone who is looking for how much does a pool cost. But you also know that their intent is much closer to being a buyer and buying something from you, hopefully. So the next point, use video and then repurpose that content from one 10 to 15 minute video. You can actually produce many short videos. You can get 6 to 7 quote style images from many of those images, or many of the videos that you might produce. You can do a handful of podcasts and so much more. So this is a way that I like to tout for not only my clients, but I do it myself, in filming once and then leveraging that one piece of video as many different ways as I possibly can, so that I can get my time back. Third, you want to plan for always and use your website to attract and convert. I feel like that's something that a lot of people forget about, is the conversion. So when we're answering those questions that customers are asking, we also want to make sure that it's very clear how to contact you or start doing business with you. And then we want to make sure that we're presenting offers to our audience everywhere that they can possibly find. So if you're writing blogs or you have article content and you're driving traffic to them, you always want to be making an offer to them in some capacity. I can't say what's best for everyone's business without diving in a little bit more specifically. But to give you an example of my business, I present a checklist or a guide on most of my article content on my website, and that gets them one step closer to proving that they're worthy of doing business with me. And from that perspective, and then from my perspective to them, I'm giving them value. I'm proving to them or demonstrating to them that I can help them by actually helping them. When we make doing business simple, we think about avoiding lengthy sign-up processes. If you're buying a product that can be done in one click, then just do that. Make it super simple for people to transact with you. Tell them who can serve them best, and really bullet point it out for them for simplicity. So to give you an example of that, I help attorneys who are just getting started and have a small book of clients get found more often online and get clients without actually having to pick up the phone to qualify them right out of the gate. So I've given a very specific example of who I can serve the best, and now they know. And if they look anything different, it can be a question like, well, what about this type of attorney? Can you help an entire firm? It's like, I can, but I can't serve them the best. So I'm going to pass you to a good buddy of mine. And then lastly, we want to leverage those relationships that we've been nurturing. We want to think about the customers and the clients, our joint ventures that we might have built up over this pandemic time, our networking contacts, and yes, our mastermind community. Don't forget about this community. We've actually curated some amazing business partnerships that we work with and help get you in front of, and we can actually help qualify that, you know, this person might be best for you in this capacity. And on the flip side, this customer has this need and can help you in this way, and you can do this amazingly for them. So before I digress, I've got some bonus tips for you. This one is really big, and I always try and dive into it as much as I possibly can, but you want to get serious about ADD. If you can automate it, get it off your plate and automate it. If you can delegate it to someone who is equally as good and in many cases much more talented at doing those tasks than you are, delegate it. And if it's not providing any value to you or customers, just freaking get rid of it. Stop holding on to those processes, those products, those services that you're actually spending a lot more time on. They drain you of energy and they only mildly provide value to a client. And this is the perfect segue as always. So with this in mind, my education programming is done, but I wanted to present this offer to you all. We do these masterminds weekly. This is the first one of the year, but we also did a whole slew of them in 2020. So if you would like access to all of the mastermind recordings from when we started last year through the end of time, then you can sign up. And we'll give you a link how to do that. I think Miss Sarah Beth is probably popping that into the chat right now. And it's $5 a month. And really that just covers our cost of the platform to bring you this content. It doesn't actually give us anything. So think of it like a wash. You're helping to support your own digestion of this content. And that's it from me. Brian, I'm going to pass the baton. I'll still control the slides if you like. You're on mute, bud.
The official phrase of 2021 still was the official phrase of 2020. You're on mute. Nope, we can't hear you. Nope, still on mute. Yep. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for the kickoff to our year. 2020 was a crazy year, but we've got some great things that I wanted to personally invite you to join and be a part of. And this is our plan for 2021. Essentially, we are looking to perfect local business connections. So the first thing, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown, and then we're going to go ahead straight into an example. And I'm going to go ahead and have one of our members, LAX Coastal, join us to tell their Adapt story. And so I'd like to start off and first give what the My Adapt story is. So My Adapt story is going to be a recording that we are doing with you as our members and local businesses here in the community. Essentially, we are podcasting and we are live streaming, and we want to be an advocate to you, the business. So in just a moment, you'll get to see our MyAdapt story. And this is a hashtag that we're going to have set up along with hashtag local business, where essentially you as a business get to tell your story. Just a brief moment and you'll see more about that. We've got B2C connections with Have You Met Easy Alfred? If you have not met Easy Alfred, we'll tell you a little about that over the next coming weeks, but essentially I'll give you a preview. Easy Alfred is our B2C connector. If you work with tourists, if you work with people visiting the area, people staying in vacation rentals more specifically, we're actually launching a concierge level app that will connect local businesses to people staying in vacation rentals. And we have 50 houses that I'm literally on Monday sending a check-in notice to. So stay tuned. And then B2B connections, Local Links Connects. We're looking to launch a similar app that will be out here in the next couple weeks that essentially will pair you with potential prospects in those business retail. So if you are a business service, we're going to connect you to retail businesses that are looking for things like web design, marketing consulting, organizing, lead generation services like our good friends at Bamit over there. Tanner, everybody say hello to Tanner. And essentially be a connector for business to business services, where you can simply put in the service you need, and then we pair you with at least 2 possible business services that can solve your needs and essentially be a matchmaking service. And then other ways we're going to be connecting is, as we've discussed in all of our meetings, expert-led breakout sessions like we have today. And then, as I said, our soon-to-be released B2B app, and then mini masterminds. I just want to put the word out there, mini masterminds. If you were following us on our live stream before, I talked about them more in depth. I won't have time today to talk about them, but we're going to have more on that on January 28th. And you can hear about what it is in detail with me on my live stream that's still sitting on Facebook, the Book of Faces, and we'll break that down. Matt, if you go to our next slide, let's go ahead and tell a quick MyAdapt story.